In the complex tapestry of global trade, few threads are as vibrant or contentious as the imposition of tariffs. When President Trump announced a 25% tariff on imported cars, it was not merely a financial maneuver. It was a calculated strategy, deep-rooted in his vision of an America-first approach. This decision, emblematic of his broader economic and political philosophy, sought to reshape the landscape of American manufacturing, redefine relationships with foreign nations, and bolster national security. At the heart of Trump's tariff policy lay a fervent desire to invigorate domestic manufacturing. For decades, American automakers had faced fierce competition from foreign manufacturers, particularly those in Asia and Europe. By imposing a hefty tariff on imported vehicles, Trump aimed to make foreign cars significantly more expensive in the U.S. market. This, he believed, would create a more favorable environment for American manufacturers, allowing them to reclaim market share lost to their foreign counterparts. The president often articulated a vision where American factories would hum with activity, workers would return to assembly lines, and the iconic image of the American car would once again dominate the highways. By raising the cost of foreign vehicles, he sought to level the playing field, ensuring that American-made cars could compete more effectively. However, the motivations behind the tariff extended beyond mere economic revival. National security was a cornerstone of Trump's rhetoric, and he often framed the reliance on imported vehicles and components as a vulnerability. In an era where global supply chains are increasingly intertwined, the idea of dependence on foreign nations for critical components became a rallying cry. Trump contended that reducing this dependence was essential not only for economic reasons, but also for safeguarding the nation's security. By encouraging domestic production, he envisioned a robust automotive industry capable of supporting national defense initiatives, ensuring that America could produce its own vehicles and components without relying on potentially adversarial nations. This narrative resonated with many Americans who viewed the manufacturing sector as a vital component of national identity and strength. Trade practices, particularly those perceived as unfair, were another significant motivator behind the tariff. China, often portrayed as the primary antagonist in Trump's trade narrative, was accused of manipulating its currency, subsidizing its industries, and engaging in practices that undermined fair competition. By imposing tariffs, Trump sought to send a clear message. The U.S. would no longer tolerate what he characterized as predatory trade practices. This was not just about cars. It was about reshuffling the global trade dynamics to favor American interests. The tariff served as a tool to pressure other nations, particularly those with which the U.S. had significant trade deficits, to reconsider their practices and engage in more equitable trade agreements. Moreover, the tariff was a strategic lever in negotiations with key auto-producing countries, particularly Germany, Canada, and Mexico. Trump's administration aimed to apply political pressure on these nations to reconsider their own trade policies and practices regarding auto production and exports. The threat of tariffs loomed large over discussions, compelling these countries to engage in negotiations that could lead to more favorable terms for the U.S. For instance, the North American Free Trade Agreement, NAFTA, renegotiations were heavily influenced by the prospect of tariffs. Trump's hardline stance pushed Canada and Mexico to the negotiating table, leading to the United States-Mexico-Canada Agreement, USMCA, which included provisions aimed at increasing the domestic content of vehicles produced in North America. In the grander scheme, the 25% tariff was not merely a standalone policy. It was part of a broader economic strategy designed to enhance America's competitive edge on the global stage. Trump envisioned a world where American products were not just competitive, but dominant. By reshaping trade dynamics, he sought to create an environment where American companies could thrive, innovation could flourish, and the U.S. economy could lead the world once again. This vision was steeped in a belief that the U.S. had been taken advantage of for too long, and that a robust, protectionist approach was necessary to rectify historical imbalances. Yet, the implementation of such a tariff was not without its challenges and criticisms. Detractors argued that while the intention was to protect American jobs, the reality could lead to higher prices for consumers and potential retaliatory measures from trading partners. The automotive industry itself was caught in a web of complexities, where many American manufacturers relied on imported parts to assemble their vehicles. The fear was that a tariff could disrupt these supply chains, leading to unintended consequences that could harm the very industry it aimed to protect. In navigating these turbulent waters, Trump's administration had to balance the immediate economic goals with the long-term implications of such a policy. As the tariff took effect, the administration closely monitored its impact on domestic production, employment rates, and the overall health of the automotive industry. The hope was that the short-term pain of higher prices would be outweighed by the long-term gain of a revitalized manufacturing sector. Ultimately, President Trump's decision to impose a 25% tariff on imported cars was a multifaceted strategy that encapsulated his vision for America's economic future. It was a bold assertion of national interests, a call to arms for American manufacturing, a means to address perceived injustices in global trade, and a tool for reshaping international relations. As the narrative unfolded, it became clear that this tariff was not just about cars. It was about reclaiming a sense of American pride and power in an increasingly competitive world. Whether the strategy would yield the desired results remained to be seen, but the implications of such a move would resonate throughout the corridors of power and the factories of America for years to come.